Hello and welcome to the Federal. It has been more than 48 hours since a political tsunami in the form of actor Vijay's TVK or Tamizhaga Vetri Kazhagam hit Tamil Nadu politics. But Vijay could secure only 108 seats in the 234 member assembly, short of attaining the magic figure of 118, which would have given him a simple majority. The governor Rajendra Arlekar met Vijay twice in last 2 days and asked him to establish requisite majority support. To discuss the developing issue, I am joined by Mr. PDT Achari, former Secretary General of Lok Sabha, and I am also joined by Mr. V. Venkateshan, columnist and veteran legal journalist. Welcome to the show, Mr. Achari. I will start with you. How do you look at the governor's advice to Vijay, the TVK president, that he has not managed to establish the requisite majority support in the state legislative assembly, which is essentially for forming, which he says is essential for forming the government? Isn't that a task of establishing the majority done on the floor of the house, which should be Tamil Nadu Assembly in this case?
Actually, my initial comment is that it is the job of the politicians to create a majority. And it is the job of the governor to facilitate the formation of a government, a stable government in the state. Now, it is the constitutional duty of the governor to ensure that a stable government is installed in the state after the election. Stable government means a government which has a stable majority. Otherwise, the government will not be stable. The point is, in Tamil Nadu, in fact, majority, and the TVK is the single largest party. The Sarkaria Commission had suggested long back a certain guidelines which were adopted by the Supreme Court also. The guidelines which the governor should follow in facing such a situation. As per the guidelines, the governor should first look for a pre-poll alliance. I mean, in case no party gets a majority. If that is not there, then he should look for a post-poll alliance. And if that is also not there, then he should go to the single largest party. Now, here in Tamil Nadu, there is no pre-poll alliance as such. Right. Then, so far as this TVK is concerned, they have very quickly formed some kind of an alliance, as I understand it. With Congress, they have enlisted the support of the Congress party, which has 5 members. And also they are perhaps trying to enlist the support of some other smaller parties. So there is an attempt to form a kind of an alliance. So let us presume that there is a post-poll alliance in existence in Tamil Nadu, or is going to be there in Tamil Nadu. Now the governor has to see whether this alliance has the majority number. And in the Tamil Nadu case, I think it is 118 or something.
Yes.
So he has to see whether they have, this alliance has 118 number. Here I must make one thing very clear. What exactly is the role of the governor in this particular situation? Whether he should insist on seeing the number, or whether he should leave it to the parties to do it on the floor of the House, prove the majority on the floor of the House. That is the basic question. We must know that the governor exercises discretion in this area. You know that so far as the governor is concerned, he has to go by the advice of the Council of Ministers. But in this case, there is no Council of Ministers who can advise him to do things in a particular way. So this is one area where the governor has to necessarily exercise his discretion. Now, how will the governor exercise his discretion? We have two very interesting examples before us, which happened many years ago. In 1996, when Vajpayee wanted to form a government, and his party did not have the requisite number, but his party was perhaps the single largest party. He approached the president and staked a claim to form the government. Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma happened to be the president at that time. And he allowed Vajpayee, he appointed Vajpayee as the prime minister and asked him to prove his majority in the Lok Sabha. That is one example. But Vajpayee formed the government, but that government lasted only for 13 days.
Yes.
Then in 1998, after the general election, although no particular party got a majority there, but Vajpayee's bloc, that is NDA, you can call it NDA now, that bloc was the largest in the Lok Sabha. He approached the president, Mr. K.R. Narayanan. But K.R. Narayanan was not very much satisfied with that. He asked him to go back and get the support of all your allies or would-be allies and come to me with the letters of support from each of those parties. Only then I will appoint you as the prime minister. That was a very important milestone, actually. That was a template for the governors and the presidents, future presidents, to follow. Now, of course, Vajpayee brought the letters and all that, and that's a part of history. He became the prime minister, and they lasted for 5 years. Here, the situation is that I do not know whether TVK has been able to secure the support of 118 members so far. From the reports, I understand that he has not been able to muster that support or that number. Now here, the role of the governor, the position that he takes is very, very important. As I said, he has discretion in this matter. He doesn't have to consult anybody. He can take a decision on his own. He can either straight away appoint the leader of TVK and ask him to face the assembly, prove your majority there, as Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma had done.
Yeah.
Or he can ask him to bring the support of 118 members, the letter pledging their support to you. Only in that case I will appoint you, otherwise I will not. Now, so far as the discretion is concerned, that is something which he has to exercise. Well, Supreme Court has said in many cases that when a constitutional authority exercises his discretion, he cannot do it arbitrarily. He has to abide by broadly the constitutional norms, and his action should be rational and should not be unconstitutional.
Right.
These are some of the parameters of exercise of discretion. Now here, what can the governor do? His primary duty, his constitutional duty is to ensure that a government is installed in the state. There is no instability, and there should not be a situation where there is no government possible. So he should facilitate the formation of a government. That is his constitutional duty.
Yeah, Mr. Achari, I mean, you gave two examples. One is Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma, and the other one is Narayanan, which makes it very clear that these are both courses open to the governor. And also use the word stable. I think the operative word seems to be the stable government. Now, here the case seems to be that he first approached, whether Vijay approached as a single largest party, or he was seen as somebody who was approaching the governor as a leader of the post poll coalition. Because in that is that a necessity that if you are a post poll coalition, then you must establish or at least give the letters of others, or the governor, since you said it's by his discretion, gets this knowledge from media and general perception of what is happening in the political field. How, because he has no advice coming from council of ministers, how does he arrive at these decisions?
He has to go by the letter of support given by other political parties. There is no other way. So he has to go by that. And he has to satisfy himself that here is a man who can form a government and he will be able to provide a stable government. It is his own satisfaction that matters here. And how is he going to do this? Now, how is he going to face this situation? We can't say. And it is up to him. But these are all options available to the governor. Then if nothing is working out, then of course the option is to keep the assembly in suspended, impose the president's rule for the time being. If he's not able to form a government at all.
Sorry for interrupting. We'll come to that next question. So what are the other options now before the governor in case it doesn't go through? But I would like Venkateshan to step in because he has been writing saying that, governor actually doesn't have this kind of role. Venkateshan, would you elaborate?
Yeah. See, I have a slight disagreement, respectful disagreement with Mr. Achari. Actually, if governor has discretion to decide whether Vijay can form a stable government, so he has a discretion to form an opinion about the stability of the future government, then what is the purpose of the floor of the house? It's the assembly which has to decide. Bommai has clearly laid down that role. Majority can be proved only on the floor of the house. Governor cannot decide whether a government will be stable or not. Correct? So he has to form a broad view about the ability of the person to be sworn in to command the confidence of the house. That's it. So single largest party being the TVK, then no other post-poll combination has emerged in the meantime after the results. He has no alternative but to invite Vijay and swear him in and give him a reasonable time for proving majority. If he fails, he falls. What is wrong in that? Minority government is not illegal or unconstitutional in India. We have had many minority governments. P.V. Narasimha Rao government was a minority government. What was wrong with that? We have had several minority governments. Even in the post-2014 period, you have a series of state governments post-poll scenarios where we have seen many leaders have been invited by the governor. Court said, no, we will not come into the picture at this point, but they have shortened the period available for vote of confidence, seeking vote of confidence. So the person chosen by the governor fails to prove the majority, he goes. The second person comes. So that is what happens. So minority governments unconstitutional.
Thanks, Venkat. I'll come back.
Governor need not come to the conclusion.
I think we have lost him, Mr. Achari. I'll come back to you. So Venkat clearly says that his position is slightly different. But in this case, when you say discretion, the discretion also, as we have seen in the past, allows minority governments, once they can be taken, they can be given vote, and then the real test happens on the floor of the house.
Right.
Now, since he's almost close to a majority, basically he has obtained 108. And then another 5 he has got. and there is nobody anywhere near him, isn't governor could have used his discretion in a different way? Because also the mandate seems to be very clearly in his favor, because a governor is also a political animal. He is not completely cut off from the political world. And the mandate, clearly, the way it has turned out, that he's a debutant, first timer, and then in his first strike itself, he gets so many numbers. So the mandate of the people seem to be clearly in that direction. And then it should have been much simpler for him to use his discretion. But the way he has used it, isn't it slightly different than what he could have done?
Well, I get the point. Actually, what I said was that the governor has to use his discretion, and the governor's primary duty is to see a government is established and facilitate the formation of a government. That is what I said. The governor should use his discretion to facilitate the formation of a government. That's the thing. So here, certainly, I agree with Venkateshan that, I mean, considering all the facts, the governor should certainly give an opportunity to this young man to form the government, because he is closer to the majority, as I understand. And there is no other way. There is no other option. I mean, option in the sense, this is the most viable option that is available now, so far as formation of a government is concerned. Otherwise, of course, there are other options also. If the governor decides not to exercise any of these options and the governor decides not to facilitate the formation of a government, then of course the governor has other options also. So my point was, when I said the governor has discretion, the governor has a discretion to do either, to take either steps. Either he can allow this TVK leader to go ahead and form a government because he has an alliance, and ask him to prove his majority in the House. Or he can refuse, because the point is, when it is a question of exercising discretion, then the problem is there is no authority which can tell the governor to do things in a particular manner, unless it is absolutely unconstitutional, totally irrational, and violating all constitutional norms. Only then you can seek the intervention of the court in that. That's the thing. In this kind of a political situation, denial of opportunity to a particular person, a political leader, or allow another leader to form a government, although he doesn't have any majority, that kind of thing, it's a very tricky kind of situation. It is very difficult to decide whether the governor was right or wrong. That depends on the political kind of situation, political opinion that you have, or political preference that you have. That is the thing. So certainly there is nothing wrong if the governor decides to allow Mr. Vijay to form the government. There is nothing wrong about it. That would be a reasonable exercise of discretion. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So the related question to this is that there is a reasonable time which he could give for the formation of the government. So apparently a news report today suggested that TVK leader Vijay had asked him for 2 weeks. But the question would also arise that can the governor also wait and give a reasonable time for other parties who could form a post-poll coalition and come in front of him? Can he use that discretion as well?
Well, governor can choose between two coalitions. And if the governor finds that one particular coalition has the ability to form a kind of a stable government, he can choose that. That is up to him. We can't say anything, we can't prejudge that. So it is actually for the governor to decide. So far as giving time is concerned, that is a reasonable thing. But the governor has to look at the other constitutional implications of that. Whether, the assembly has to be convened within a certain time, because the assembly, outgoing assembly, I don't know whether it has been dissolved. Or whether it has been dissolved. So there is no assembly at the moment. And there is a government which is in office, which will continue till a new government is formed, new chief minister is sworn in. But that cannot go on for a longer time. It can't. Therefore, the governor has to decide about the time also. A reasonable time means I give you 1 week. You form you get your number, or on the basis of the number that you have given, I am appointing you as the chief minister. That can be done quickly. There's no problem. In any case, he has to prove his majority only in the House.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, Venkatesan, I want to come to you. That even if such a discretion is taken by the governor, that he is going to, like he said today, that you have to establish the numbers. If that is the criteria, then this decision is always open to judicial review, isn't it? So the other path open to Vijay is a judicial one.
See, this kind of situation has never happened earlier. In the sense, Bihar in 2005, it was a case of dissolution being taken to the court, right? So subsequently, whatever cases that had come up before the Supreme Court, they were all a wrong person being invited to form the government, and others challenged it. Here is a case, first case ever, where the governor refuses to extend the invitation to the single largest party, right? So this is, if it is challenged before the court will have a gray area to start with, because there is no precedent. Having said that, my answer to this is, can the governor insist on 118 for extending invitation? No, he cannot. He has to go by the situation as of now. As of now, there is no post-poll claimant apart from Vijay. So Vijay has come up with a post-poll alliance with Congress and said, this is my number, which is falling short, but please invite me. There are no challengers to Vijay at this time. So nothing prevents the governor from extending the invitation. If he says that, no, I will wait for 118, he is obviously wrong, constitutionally wrong. He cannot do that. So what will happen if nobody comes up with 118? Will he recommend dissolution? Rameshwar Singh, Supreme Court was very clear. Bhutta Singh was wrong in recommending president's rule. Similar situation. There was a stalemate after the elections, and the dissolution was done on the basis of his report. So Bhutta Singh was indicted by 3 of the 5 judges of the Supreme Court. He resigned within 2 days. Let us remember that. So governor cannot go by the Bhutta Singh precedent, though it is available. So he has to understand that his hands are tied. He cannot decide what the assembly will decide. So even if Vijay is given a chance and he moves a vote of confidence, there is a possibility that some parties may walk out. Some parties may decide to, give him extend a surprise support. They need not reveal everything before the governor at this stage, because nobody has asked them. So they may be deliberating what to do. They may be waiting for signals. They may be waiting for Vijay to announce his policies and programs. So all this is in the realm of possibilities. The governor cannot preempt all this. This is a political process. The governor has to give space to the political process rather than preempt all that. That is my view.
Okay. Vijay, I want to ask a quick question, which I may be repeating, but I still want to ask you. See, the question which is coming, as Venkat also said, that single largest party, is it that instead of approaching the governor's single largest party, Vijay also approached along with a letter of Congress party, then it is seen as a post-poll alliance? Is that a technical problem here for him to take such a decision?
No, I don't think so. Because see, as I explained in the beginning, there's a sequence. I mean, he has to, pre-poll alliance and post-poll alliance and all that kind of. And finally, the single largest party kind of thing. But here, in any case, he has approached the governor with the support of the Congress and maybe some other parties, I don't know. But there, of course, I am of the view that nothing stops the governor from inviting him to form the government and appointing him as the chief minister at the moment. Nothing stops him. If he does that, he will be exercising his discretion in a reasonable manner. That's it. But if he doesn't do that, then of course no government is possible in the immediate future. And there, of course, then other options are there. Now, Srinivasan, I have to attend another.
So, if you can, final question to you: what are the options now? If you can just quickly tell us. Yeah.
Well, the other option is if he is not able to form a government, can't get a government formed, then certainly he can certainly invoke the president's rule, and the president can come in, and president rule will be imposed for a short period, and then the assembly can be kept in suspended animation, as it has been done in many cases. And in the meantime, the political process will continue, and some kind of an alliance will emerge, and they can then form the government and go ahead. That depends on many factors. The political situation will so develop or emerge that it may be possible at a future date to form a government. That is it. So that is one option which is available, which has been exercised on many occasions in the past.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Acharya. I'll let you go.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much. Venkat, one final thing on the basis of what he said isn't this, if adequate time is given and allow the political process to take over, then the entire course of what the governor should be doing, doesn't it take a very different course? Because once the political process comes into play, then the possibilities can be completely different.
Yeah, once the governor gives space to the political process, which is the right thing to do at this juncture, then he leaves it to the political process. So Vijay either wins the vote of confidence or loses, and the next stage comes up, right? He cannot anticipate what will happen in politics.
No. At what stage the governor says that if a political process is allowed at this point of time, it could lead to horse trading? When does he start looking into that?
So there the Supreme Court was very clear in Rameshwar saying it's not the business of the governor to anticipate horse trading or apprehend horse trading. It is for the House to debate things and come to a conclusion. So he cannot go by apprehensions of horse trading and recommend president's rule. There the Supreme Court was very clear in the Rameshwar Singh case. So that should guide him, that he cannot send a report to the center apprehending horse trading, because it's a hypothetical situation. When horse trading has not even happened, you cannot apprehend it. Yeah. And on the basis of the apprehension, you cannot recommend president's rule, which is very unfair to the mandate of the people.
Yeah. So what happens at this stage now? Because the governor it's been 48 hours. No decision has been taken. Governor met Vijay again today, and then no decision came. No other political party has so far approached, which means so far there is only one claimant. Then, what is the real option now open before the governor? Should he now go back to Vijay and ask, at least give him an invitation so that this could be tested on the floor of the House?
Well, governor must be waiting for some signals from Delhi. That apart, see, what he has to do under the circumstances, only what Delhi dictates, probably he may do. But options are open to Vijay. Vijay can come to the Supreme Court and knock its doors. Look, I have not got the invitation, though I am very close to the majority. I met the governor twice, but he has not obliged me.
Yeah, at what stage he should do that?
Or he should do it immediately. He should do it immediately. He should knock the doors of the Supreme Court. and ask for remedy, right? So the Supreme Court has many times, when the governor was inactive or not using its discretion or powers properly, Supreme Court had stepped in Perry
So
Walden case.
governor's choice, sorry to interject. So the governor's choice is open to judicial review.
Absolutely, in the sense, governor will not get a notice.
Yeah.
But if the discretion is not exercised properly, then the court can step in. That they have done several times. They will not issue notice to the governor because governor is immune under the constitution. But without issuing notice, they can examine whether the governor had exercised his discretion in a proper manner. That they can very well do in this context also.
Okay. Thank you so much, Venkat. This story will continue to boil over, and we'll meet again to discuss more on the issue. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.